The story begins with a military commander gathers his team for a critical briefing. Intelligence confirms that the enemy's high commander, Masalan, is currently visiting Sector Y. The mission is clear: eliminate him tonight. Due to the sensitive nature of the operation, the commander explains that only 5 squads, 49 soldiers in total, will participate. There will be no air support. One of the squads seeks clarification about enemy numbers. The commander responds, enemy strength is estimated between 350 and 500 troops. Confusion ripples through 2 of the squads as they whisper among themselves, struggling to catch a detail. A nearby squad quickly signals them to stay quiet and focus. The commander stresses that the objective is not to reclaim the area. The moment Masalan is confirmed and neutralized, the squads are to retreat immediately. Suddenly, the commander explodes in anger, calling out a soldier who isn't paying attention. The soldier stiffens, apologizes, and urges him to continue. The briefing resumes with tense focus. The commander looks at the soldier with a serious face. He feels that if it were any other day, he would have punished him, but he decides to let it go because today is a very special day for everyone. Some of the soldiers smile a little after hearing him. Then the commander gives a loud order to start the mission. The soldiers stand straight and show they are ready. The mission is about to begin. The scene moves to a dark forest where a military truck is parked. Inside the truck, most of the soldiers are resting. Only one of them stays awake, sitting quietly and watching. After some time, the truck stops. All the soldiers open their eyes and get ready. A squad leader tells everyone that they will walk from here. The soldiers step out of the truck, check their weapons carefully, and take a short break if they need it. Some take out cigarettes and relax for a moment before the mission starts. The commander lights a cigarette and one of the soldiers, joking about drinks and what they will do after the mission. But then, the commander reminds the team to stay serious and focused. A soldier makes a joke about how their team, GOBS, always wins. The commander ends the talk quickly, not in the mood for jokes. They begin to move through the forest, staying close to the trees. The ground is uneven, and they step carefully as they move forward. The commander keeps his hand close to his side, feeling the pressure build as they get closer to their target. Now they are 2 kilometers away from the location. Everything is going as planned, but the commander starts to feel nervous. He cannot explain it. Nothing is wrong, but something feels off. One of the soldiers notices and asks him what's wrong. The commander answers that it's just a strange feeling. Smithen is known for his jokes. Even in serious moments, he finds a way to make people laugh. At this very tense time, he makes another joke about the commander needing to think about retirement. Some of the soldiers smile, trying to stay relaxed, but just then Smithen is hit by enemy fire. His body falls back. The commander quickly turns around and rushes to him. He calls out to Smithen and tries to move him to the side. Smithen tries to speak, but his eyes are starting to close. The commander stays close, asking if Smithen can still hear him, trying to keep him awake. The rest of the team is already readying their weapons. Both squads start returning fire toward the enemy. The commander stays next to Smithen for a moment. Then he realizes that the enemy is using mine launchers. He feels the fight has changed quickly, and that the enemy is using heavy weapons earlier than expected. He asks the team if everyone is safe. One of the squad members replies that no one else is hurt. This makes the commander think. If the enemy attacked this fast and with such strength, then they must have been waiting. The only explanation is that their arrival was expected. An enemy soldier moves closer toward the military team. The captain notices and quickly opens fire, stopping several enemies before they get too near. While still guarding Smithen, he does not let his focus slip. The commander turns to Smithen, offering help. Smithen refuses pain medicine, even though he is clearly hurt. He asks how bad his condition is. The commander looks closely and sees the damage. Smithen is losing too much blood, and there are signs that his internal organs may be affected. Bevan in this serious state, Smithen keeps smiling and laughing, trying to stay lighthearted. The Yas commander grows angry. He knows it's more than just a small wound, but he does not want Smithen to give up. Another squad member turns to the commander and asks what they should do next. The commander gives a straight answer. Smithen's wounds are too serious. If they want any chance to save him, they must fall back and leave the mission. A retreat is the only option. One of the squad members reminds the captain of their duty. They all know what has to be done in moments like this. Smithen, still lying injured, keeps smiling. He tells them to leave him and go on. Even now he grins, trying to show no fear. The captain, unable to hide his emotions, kneels beside him. His face is tense, his voice firm. He asks Smithen to tell him one last thing. Smithen, through his pain, answers with a weak smile. He names the captain with pride, calling him the god of Blackfield. The captain looks up, angry at the enemy, filled with frustration and grief. He mutters under his breath, trying to hold himself together. Then he calls out to Daru, one of the squad members nearby. The captain forces himself to stand, saying, "He's fine." He pushes down the pain and prepares to lead again. The commander urges his team to hold on. He tells them they are only a few meters away from reaching enemy ground. With firm resolve, he signals everyone to begin the charge. As he leads the attack, a sudden hit strikes him from behind. His body stumbles forward. The commander falls, shocked. His thoughts race. He realizes he has been shot, but the bullet came from behind. Confusion sets in. He starts to wonder if someone from their own side turned against them. He questions whether there was a sniper or a traitor in their ranks. Pain spreads across his head. He feels dizzy. The pressure is sharp, but not final. He wonders why he still feels pain. He expected death, but he is still conscious. His body aches, and he feels incredibly thirsty. In his fading mind, he calls out, hoping someone is near. In another place, voices are speaking. A doctor stands nearby, speaking about the commander's condition. The doctor notes that recovery seems quick and guesses it may be due to the commander's young age. A nurse steps in quietly, checks the chart, and confirms that the commander is stable for now. Slowly, the commander begins to open his eyes. His thoughts are cloudy. He tries to understand where he is and what happened. The first thing that comes to his mind is a question. Where is he now? The doctor asks the nurse if Kang Chen is awake. As the nurse nods, the doctor walks toward the room and asks her to hurry. Kang Chen slowly opens his eyes. His thoughts are scattered. He wonders where he is. His body still feels weak, and his mind tries to understand the situation. The doctor stands beside the bed and explains that Kang Chen has recovered quickly because of his youth and athletic build. But even with that, the doctor warns that his condition is still not fully stable. An Asian man speaks gently in Korean. Checking on Kang Chen's condition, he asks if there is any pain or discomfort. Kang Chen, still confused, asks again where he is. The doctor explains that he is in a hospital. Kang Chen, more alert now, says he knows that already. He wants to know which hospital. The doctor replies that he is in Sabyul Hospital, located in Gangnam. The doctor then turns to the nurse and tells her that it's time to contact the patient's guardian. The nurse agrees and moves to carry out the task. Kang Chen hears the word Gangnam and realizes he is in Korea. More questions fill his mind. He asks who brought him here. The doctor explains that paramedics brought him in. He adds that no civilian could have reached this place alone and survived, not in that condition. The nurse returns, and the doctor quietly tells her that Kang Chen still seems confused. He has just woken from a coma after 3 days. The doctor instructs her to keep a close watch on him. The nurse nods and begins her work. Staying near the bedside, Kang Chen suddenly starts shouting. He feels frustrated and confused. He doesn't want to be treated like he's lost his mind. He jolts upward, surprising the doctor. The doctor, startled, reacts quickly. He rushes toward Kang Chen and tries to calm him down, telling him that he should not be moving yet. But Kang Chen is already out of the bed. He runs out of the room, unsteady but determined. As he moves down the hallway, he leans against the wall and taps it for balance. His mind races. He keeps asking himself what is going on. Everything feels strange. His body, the hospital, and the silence around him. Nothing makes sense. The scene shifts to a bright and modern city. Kang Chen now sits inside a luxurious car. The seat is soft, and the city buildings pass by outside the window. Beside him sits a beautiful woman. As he watches the view, Kang Chen begins to think back on everything he has learned since waking up in the hospital. He remembers that his name is Kang Chen, and he is 29 years old. Before all of this, he was the captain of a French mercenary unit. In July 2016, during a mission in Africa, he was shot and lost consciousness. But more than that, he believes he actually died. Now somehow he has woken up in Korea. The year is 2019. Kang Chen starts to realize something strange. He does not think he was in a coma all this time. Instead, he understands that he is now inside a different person's body. That is what feels so strange. Even more surprising, the boy who originally owned this body is also named Kang Chen. This boy is 19 years old and a senior student at Gangnam Shinuk High School. People say that he fell from the roof of the school and was in a coma for a few days. But now, the person who woke up in his body is not really him. Kang Chen then looks at a building outside the window. He knows it. That is his home. The woman sitting beside him is named Yoo Hee-suk. She is his mother, or more correctly, the mother of the boy whose body he is in. She gently reminds others that the doctor said his memory will return with enough rest. A man sits in the front seat. His name is Kang Dae-kyung. He is the father of the boy. They both watch him closely, hoping he will feel normal again. The car stops in front of a tall building. There is no parking space nearby, so the driver drops them off. Kang Chen looks up at the building. He feels like he has seen it before. It must be where this body used to live. They enter through the front, and as they reach the apartment, the door opens after a beep. His mother tells him gently that this is their home, but Kang Chan shows no signs of remembering it. His father notices the worry on his wife's face and softly reminds her to give him time. His father places a hand on Kang Chan's shoulder and suggests he go rest in his room. Kang Chan agrees and quietly walks in. His father tells him the room is on the left. Kang Chan nods and moves down the hallway. His hand grabs the doorknob and pushes it open. His mother watches from behind, still worried. She quietly asks if he will be okay. The father replies with calm confidence, hoping that things will return to normal soon. As Kang Chan steps into the room, he is surprised. The space is large and clean, with expensive things all around. It is far better than the captain's quarters he used to have. He realizes that the boy whose body he now lives in came from a rich family. He thinks to himself that this might be useful. He finds a locked drawer and tries to open it, but it does not budge. He considers asking the parents for the password, but changes his mind. He picks up the phone on the table and thinks about using it instead. After unlocking it with fingerprint recognition, he begins searching. He hopes to find something, maybe even information about his old friend who died. He searches for things like reincarnation, but the results show nothing. Then he realizes that the phone is set to Korean language and local websites. That might be why the search shows no results. He then types 2016 Africa Battle French, mirror into the search bar. No results appear. He thinks the info might not be on local sites. He switches to a French news platform and tries again. This time, a message appears. It's from someone named Lee Ho-jun. The message says he heard Kang Kang-han is out of the hospital. The name feels familiar. Kang Kang-han thinks this could be someone from his past. He replies quickly just to end the chat. He types that he just got out. Another message comes fast. It's angry, asking why he didn't report back. The tone is sharp, like it's from someone close, maybe from the old unit. Kang Kang-han stares at the screen. This could be someone who knew him before, someone who might know the truth. Kang Chan reads the message from Lee Ho-jun. The words are harsh, asking why he didn't report back. Kang Chan feels uneasy. He wonders if this person is really a friend. He decides to ignore the message for now. Another message arrives, even more aggressive, demanding a reply. Kang Chan finds it annoying and starts to wonder if the boy who owned this body was being bullied. He types a short response, saying he's busy. Soon after, the phone rings. He answers. On the other end, Lee Ho-jun starts yelling and cursing. Kang Chan smirks, which only makes Lee Ho-jun angrier. He accuses Kang Chan of acting strange and keeps shouting. Lee Ho-jun gives him a final warning, ordering him to come to room within 5 seconds, and ends the call. Kang Chan, now tired of the drama, opens the phone's settings and adds Lee Ho-jun to the blocked contacts list. The scene shifts to another house. Lee Ho-jun stands inside, furious. He has just discovered that Kang Chan blocked his number. His face turns red with anger. Without thinking, he grabs his phone and throws it out the window. It crashes outside. He starts pacing the room, breathing heavily, unable to calm down. A nearby guard watches and quietly comments, pointing out that the phone was brand new. Lee Ho-jun, still furious, says he doesn't care and plans to make Kang Chan replace it. Another guard speaks under his breath, saying that Lee Ho-jun never pays for anything himself. A third adds that he acts like a complete jerk. Lee Ho-jun doesn't hear them. He's too angry, muttering to himself and swearing at Kang Chan, calling him names and promising to get back at him. The film then cuts to Kang Chan's room. He sits at his desk, deep in thought. He has been searching through news articles and military journals, trying to find any mention of the battle he remembers from that day in Africa. But there's nothing. He wonders if the event is classified or if there's another reason it's missing from public records. Frustrated, Kang Chan leans back. All the thinking makes him crave a cigarette. He opens a drawer, hoping to find some. He searches through the contents, then reaches for the school bag nearby. He fumbles through it, annoyed by how neat everything is. He complains that the previous owner of this body was too well behaved, and maybe there's something hidden between the books. He checks another drawer. It's messy, full of random items, but that makes it the perfect hiding place. As he looks through a book inside the drawer, he finds a diary. The pages are filled with angry and painful words. As Kang Chan flips through the messy drawer, he finds an old notebook. It looks like a personal diary. He opens it and reads carefully. The writer questions everything. He keeps asking what he did wrong. He believes he gives others money again and again, but still faces cruelty. He wonders why he freezes every time he sees them. He thinks he works out a lot, hoping to change, but nothing ever does. He believes people are talking about him behind his back. He admits he has never taken a picture with anyone and feels completely alone. At times, he even calls himself a moron. The entries get darker. he repeats the word die over and over. He writes that he wants to kill them all and says he can't take it anymore. Kang-chan reads every word in silence. The emotions are raw, but he sees them differently. He thinks the writer is immature. If he truly wanted revenge, he would have done something already. With a long sigh, Kang-chan closes the diary and drops it on the bed. He looks around the room again, but there are no cigarettes in sight. He now understands the truth. The boy whose life he has entered was being bullied. And this new life may be even harder than the last. The day begins, and Kang-chan prepares to go to school. As he reaches the front gate, his father walks beside him, looking concerned. He asks if Kang-chan is really ready, reminding him that he could take a few more days off to rest. Kang-chan reassures him. He says he has been bored, staying in his room all day and feels it's time to return. His father reminds him not to push too hard. Kang-chan nods, though the moment feels a little awkward. With that, he turns and walks through the school gate. As he enters the grounds, his steps are steady, but inside he feels lost. He realizes he doesn't know where his classroom is. He looks around, hoping to spot someone who could help. Then, a few students begin to whisper. Murmurs spread among the crowd. In the middle of the small commotion, one student steps forward. It's Ho-jun. He stands tall and smirking, clearly ready to cause trouble. He mocks Kang-chan for coming back from the hospital and makes fun of the idea that he might have a brain injury. Kang-chan is surprised. So this is Lee Ho-jun, the one who sent those messages. Ho-jun steps closer, still shouting and demanding answers. He yells about the blocked messages and the phone call Kang-chan ended without warning. Kang-chan simply walks toward him, calm and silent, with a faint smile on his face. Ho-jun freezes for a moment, confused. He asks if Kang-chan is high. Kang-chan doesn't say a word. He just keeps smiling. Inside his mind, Kang-chan starts to feel amused. He thinks that maybe, just maybe, he has found someone useful. Kang-chan smiles as he watches Ho-jun. He thinks to himself that he has found a little helper. Ho-jun twitches, annoyed. Kang-chan asks if he is Lee Ho-jun. Ho-jun yells and says he is. Kang-chan jokes and says that because of Ho-jun, he had to do all the cigarette runs alone. He says it in a funny way just to bother him. Ho-jun looks more upset. Kang-chan asks if he has a cigarette and tells him to lend one. He reaches out his hand, still calm. Ho-jun gets angry. He cracks his knuckles and says Kang-chan won't even get to eat lunch before his funeral. Then he tells him to follow. The scene shifts to the school hallway. Kang-chan walks ahead, looking around. Ho-jun steps forward and glances back, leading the way. They reach the basketball court. Ho-jun turns around quickly and throws a punch at Kang-chan, calling him a moron. He says he was bored without him the past few days. Kang-chan smirks and punches back, hitting Ho-jun in the face. He says the boy talks too much. Ho-jun falls to the ground. Kang-chan dashes forward and lands another blow. Ho-jun now lies unconscious, on the floor. Kang-chan looks down and tells himself he probably shouldn't kill him. He checks Ho-jun's pockets and bag but finds no cigarettes. He sighs. He then looks up and wonders if that kid is out there, watching. He hopes that what he's doing means something to him. Ho-jun twitches his head and stands up. He glares at Kang-chan and steps forward, angry. Kang-chan looks back, surprised, as Ho-jun rushes toward him. Ho-jun throws a punch and asks if Kang-chan's head injury made him go crazy. Kang-chan is shocked. He thought that punch should have knocked Ho-jun out for hours. Ho-jun moves fast and lands another punch. Kang-chan wobbles but stays standing. Ho-jun curses and grunts. Kang-chan realizes this isn't his original body. If one punch isn't enough, he'll just have to keep going. He grits his teeth and gets ready. Ho-jun charges again. Kang-chan hits him hard. Ho-jun falls, but stands back up. Kang-chan keeps punching again and again. Ho-jun stumbles, falls, and groans. Then Kang-chan stops. His fist is raised, but he freezes. He looks down at Ho-jun lying on the ground and remembers something. He forgot to ask where his classroom is. After leaving Ho-jun behind, Kang-chan walks back to the school grounds. He starts looking around, trying to find his classroom. Then someone calls out his name from behind. Chan. He turns around. Standing there is a pretty girl. She looks calm and kind, almost like Snow White. She smiles and says he's back. She asks if it's okay for him to be at school already. Kang-chan stares, unsure who she is. He doesn't remember her face. The girl gently asks if he's feeling better now. Kang-chan nods slowly. In his head, he wonders who this Snow White-looking girl is and why she seems to know him. Then it hits him. He saw this name in the diary. She must be Myung. He keeps thinking, well, whoever she is, how does she know this guy? Since he's in his senior year, he guesses she is too. Myung explains that she wanted to visit him at the hospital but was busy with private lessons. She says sorry. Kang-chan tells her it's fine. She says their classmates were all really worried about him. That surprises him. He asks if they're in the same class. Myung looks confused and says she sits right next to him. She asks if he's still feeling unwell. He quickly says he's fine and tells her to lead the way. She agrees, and they walk toward the classroom together. Kang-chan thinks to himself, "At least I found someone who can guide me." They enter the class and sit down. Myung takes the seat right next to his. Kang-chan glances around and notes that his seat makes him an easy target in the room. Just then, the door opens, and in walks Ho-jun. He enters the classroom. The students begin whispering. Some wonder what happened to his face. Others guess he got into a fight with kids from another school. Kang-chan notices him right away and sees that Ho-jun is in the same class. Ho-jun walks to his seat and drops into it with a heavy mood. His face shows clear anger. Kang-chan watches him and thinks he is annoying. Ho-jun glares at him, then picks up his phone and starts typing a message. He writes that Kang-chan is acting crazy and tells others to meet him during first period. He thinks to himself that he will not let Kang-chan get away with this and smiles to himself. The scene changes to the school ground. PT teacher stands in front of a group of boys and checks attendance. He asks if everyone is safe while marking names. One student asks about Kang-chan's missing gym clothes. The teacher turns to look at Kang-chan and notices he isn't dressed for class. Before Kang-chan can respond, Myung steps forward. She tells the teacher that it is Kang-chan's first day back at school and that he just came from the hospital. The teacher realizes who Kang-chan is and tells him not to do any hard activity yet. The rest of the students are told they can play basketball or dodgeball. The teacher reminds everyone to be careful and avoid getting hurt. The other students play on the field, laughing and shouting. Kang-chan sits alone on a stool, his mood heavy and sad. He keeps his head down, lost in thought. From a distance, Ho-jun watches him closely. Kang-chan thinks to himself that he can't believe he's back in high school. He doesn't know what to do next. Nothing feels right. Ho-jun finally walks toward him. When he reaches Kang-chan, the tension rises. Kang-chan stands up slowly, knowing what's coming. He feels that he should have finished this earlier. He regrets letting Ho-jun walk away the first time. The two of them begin walking together, leaving the open ground behind. Soon, they reach a quiet spot where Ho-jun's group is already waiting. The boys see Kang-chan and start laughing and mocking him. They point at Ho-jun's bruises and tease him for being beaten by someone they call a nerd. One of them steps forward and says they'll find out the truth for themselves. Then, without warning, they all rush toward Kang-chan. The 5 boys leap toward Kang-chan, surrounding him in a circle. He stands alone, calm but sharp. His eyes burn with focus as he watches them. They try to intimidate him, but Kang-chan smirks. He's not afraid. He stands firm and waits. He thinks to himself that he doesn't have all day and is fine taking on more than one at a time. One of the boys steps forward with a grin, acting confident. He believes Kang-chan still hasn't learned his lesson and says he can handle him alone. Then, without warning, the group charges forward. Kang-chan moves fast. He steps in and lands a strong punch. One boy drops to the ground with a thud. The others freeze, shocked. They weren't expecting that. Kang-chan stays calm as the 4 boys surround him. He reminds them that it's important to listen when someone gives advice. Since they don't seem to know how to fight properly, he gives them a tip. Each one should aim at a different part: the head, the body, the legs. He explains they need to come at him from all sides, not all at once. One of the boys gets angry, yells at him and tells the others to beat him down. They all charge at once. Kang-chan moves fast, landing solid punches. One boy falls to the ground. Another stumbles back. One slides across the dirt. One grins and lunges toward him, shouting. Another grabs Kang-chan's ear and tries to hold him, but Kang-chan quickly grabs his hand and flips him to the ground. As he fights, he feels how weak this new body still is, but he pushes through. Ho-jun, watching from the side, is shocked. He wonders if this is really the same weak student from before. Kang-chan coughs and keeps going. Then one boy pulls out a knife. His hand shakes, but he steps forward, saying Kang-chan is finished. Kang-chan didn't want the fight to go this far, but now he has no choice. He warns the boy not to use a weapon unless he's ready to risk his life. As the boy rushes forward, Kang-chan meets him head-on, grabs his wrist, twists it hard, and the knife falls to the ground. The attacker screams in pain as Kang-chan stands firm, eyes sharp and steady. When the boy charges with the knife, Kang-chan twists his arm sharply. The attacker yells in pain as something in his wrist cracks. Ho-jun stands at a distance, watching the entire scene unfold. Kang-chan turns to him and calls his name. Now it's just the 2 of them left. Ho-jun starts to panic, his face pale and his body frozen. Kang-chan picks up the fallen knife and stares at it. He says to himself that he's willing to take full responsibility for whatever happens next. He admits that he was too soft on Ho-jun earlier in the day and now realizes it wasn't enough to scare him off. His eyes lock on Ho-jun with a cold glare, and he promises not to make the same mistake twice. Ho-jun begins to tremble. Kang-chan steps closer, holding the knife calmly. He asks, without emotion, how many pieces Ho-jun should be cut into, and tells him to go ahead and say it. Ho-jun lowers his head and starts to plead. He apologizes and promises not to mess with Kang-chan again. But Kang-chan stands firm, his voice calm. He tells Ho-jun that he's free to try again, if he has the courage to back it up. With that, Kang-chan turns and begins to walk away. Just then, a teacher appears and steps between them, saying the fight is over. Ho-jun suddenly changes his tone and begins shouting, pretending to be the victim. He calls out to the teacher for help, acting scared and desperate as if he had been attacked for no reason. The teacher steps into the scene, surprised by how close Kang-chan had gotten without him noticing. He raises his voice and addresses Kang-chan directly, saying he's heard about him before but warns that if he takes another step, it will no longer be seen as self-defense. Kang-chan doesn't move. He simply glares back. The teacher notices the glare and tells him he clearly doesn't understand how serious the situation is. He warns that if Kang-chan continues this behavior, he won't be allowed to attend school anymore. He also tells him that what just happened won't be ignored. Kang-chan responds coldly in his mind, thinking that he'll just quit school if it comes to that. The teacher tells him it's his duty as a student to come to class, but for now, he should leave and bring proof that he was being bullied if he wants to avoid serious punishment. The teacher turns to handle the scene but glances back, asking, "Where Kang-chan learned to fight like that?" Kang-chan casually says he learned it from the internet. The teacher, impressed despite himself, mutters that he's pretty good and tells him to explain more another time. The teacher stands still, watching Kang-chan walk away. A thought quietly enters his mind. He wonders if everyone becomes someone new after coming back from the dead. The scene shifts to a busy city. Kang-chan walks through the streets alone, thinking that his earlier actions were his way of thanking the body's original owner. Now it's time to return to where he truly belongs. He steps into a small barber shop. The barber finishes cutting and brushing his hair. Kang-chan looks into the mirror and feels like himself again. This is the Kang-chan he remembers. Later, he walks into a small food shop. The door jingles as he enters. He is welcomed politely and asked to take a seat. He orders pork cutlet. As he waits, his eyes drift and a memory comes back, a flash from the past. He sees himself, much younger, sitting beside his mother at a table. She asks if he likes the food, and he smiles, saying it's good. She gently tells him to just eat his kimbap. Back in the present, the server places the dish in front of him. Kang-chan picks up his chopsticks, cuts into the meat, and takes a bite. The taste brings warmth, but it doesn't fully match the one in his memory. He thinks to himself that it always tasted better with chopsticks, but even now, it's not as good as he remembers. Suddenly, Kang-chan's phone buzzes. He looks down and sees that it's his mother calling. He pauses, surprised, then answers. On the other end, her voice sounds worried. She asks if it's really him. He replies quietly, confirming that it is. She immediately asks what happened. He tells her that he'll explain everything once he gets home, but she doesn't wait. She asks where he is and says she'll come get him right away. Kang-chan repeats himself, firm this time. He says, he'll talk when he gets home, not before. Then he ends the call, letting out a slow breath. Kang-chan ends the call and lowers the phone slowly. His hand is tight, and his thoughts are heavy. This situation is not going the way he imagined. Deep down, he feels cornered. A dark thought passes through his mind. He had once considered ending it all. For a moment, he just sits there, quiet and still. Then, without saying a word, he picks up his chopsticks, stabs a piece of food, and eats it. As he chews slowly, a small thought crosses his mind. Even this, as simple as it is, still feels better than giving up. The scene shifts to Kang-chan's new home, where his father and mother wait anxiously. The father paces and says they'll deal with Kang-chan once he arrives, clearly angry. The mother, more gentle, asks him not to be too hard on their son. She believes Kang-chan must have had a reason for acting the way he did. She brings up how strange he has been acting since the accident, how everything changed after he nearly died. The father doesn't respond at first, but then the door opens. With a beep, Kang-chan enters, his hair freshly cut. The father is shocked by his appearance. Parents ask him to sit down for a moment. The father, still angry, clenches his fist and begins to shout, but the mother tries to calm him. Kang-chan cuts through the tension by saying he has something to show them. He pulls out a diary, the one belonging to the original Kang-chan, and hands it to them. As they read, both parents begin to cry. The father asks if any of it was made up. Kang-chan says no. The father shouts, asking why he never said anything. The mother turns away in pain. Kang-chan lowers his head and admits he didn't want to worry them. He says he felt ashamed and that was why he jumped. But after surviving, nothing scares him anymore. The father finally sighs and says he understands. Then he asks if getting revenge made Kang-chan feel any better. Kang-chan says nothing. The mother gently asks if he's hurt and he quietly answers that he's fine. The father tells Kang-chan that what matters most is that he's not injured and assures him that they will take care of everything else. He tells Kang-chan not to worry. Kang-chan starts to speak, but the father stops him and says that if anything like this ever happens again, he must promise to tell them. Kang-chan responds quietly, saying it won't happen again. But the father insists. He says they are his parents and they have the right to know when something is wrong. The mother, teary-eyed, says they're sorry and that they had no idea something so painful was happening to him. Her sobbing grows louder as the father gently tries to comfort her. In that moment, Kang-chan's mind drifts into a memory from another life, his past life. He remembers a cold kitchen filled with bottles of wine and a father who would shout and slam things down in anger. He sees the image of his mother silently comforting him while fear filled the house. He recalls the cruel voice demanding more wine. That memory stings, but it reminds him of the difference now. He looks at the people in front of him, parents who care. He quietly makes a promise to them. Then, slowly standing up, he tells them he'll be in his room and walks away. As Kang-chan stands to head to his room, the phone rings. His father answers, confirming that he is Kang Dae-kyung. The caller speaks urgently, and his father's expression changes instantly. He listens carefully, then agrees to send money and says he'll call back. His wife, worried, asks what's wrong. The father explains that there's been a problem with a shipment in France. A missing document is delaying customs clearance. She asks what they should do. He says that the dealers on the ground can fix the issue if he sends them 100,000 euros. Kang-chan, who has been quietly listening, stops in place. He quickly calculates that 100,000 euros is around 130 million won. He turns back toward his father and tells him to wait. But the father, already panicked, tells his wife they'll lose even more money if customs isn't cleared soon and says he should send the payment right away. Kang-chan steps forward and says firmly that he wants to speak with the person in charge. The father turns to Kang-chan in confusion, surprised by his sudden involvement. Just then, the phone rings again. Kang-chan answers it before his father can. On the other end, a man speaks in a hurry, saying that if the money isn't sent within 30 minutes, everything will be scrapped. Kang-chan cuts him off and asks to speak directly to the person in charge. The man confirms if he is speaking to Kang Dae-kyung. Kang-chan grabs the phone from his father and says he's his son. He tells the caller there's no time and demands to be connected to the person in charge. He steps aside to talk privately while both parents watch him in silence, wondering what he's doing. The mother whispers in worry, asking what's going on. The father admits he has no idea. After a few minutes, Kang-chan ends the call and walks back over. He calmly returns the phone to his father and tells him that the missing document has been found just in time and there should be no more issues with customs. His father lights up with relief and says how thankful he is, adding that the dealers can be careless sometimes. Kang-chan then says he warned them that next time he'd have Algerian mercenaries blow up their business. His father stares at him, shocked, until Kang-chan smirks and says he's joking. The mother, still curious, asks when he learned French since it isn't taught at his school. Kang-chan replies that he learned it online. The father repeats the word internet in disbelief, and the mother comments that times have changed. Kang-chan tells his father that he'll excuse himself first, and his father nods in agreement. The scene shifts to Kang-chan's bedroom. He lies on the bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. He tells himself that it's better to wait before heading to France. His body isn't what it used to be, and he still hasn't fully recovered from the head injury. He thinks briefly about his father and mother, then quickly decides not to overthink it. Once he's back to full strength, he plans to leave. No second thoughts. The next day, Kang-chan arrives at school, already feeling tired of everything. He sighs and wonders if he really has to keep coming. Once inside the classroom, he drops his bag, walks to his desk, and rests his head on it. He decides to sleep through the day. Nearby, Ho-jun sits next to him, annoyed. He shoves his chair and demands Kang-chan's attention. Kang-chan doesn't move. Ho-jun calls him out again, angry and loud, swearing and saying he's not finished with him. He tells Kang-chan to follow him outside, but Kang-chan stays slumped in his seat and simply tells him to leave. Ho-jun pauses, then smirks and says that maybe Kang-chan doesn't care what happens to Myung. That name hits hard. Kang-chan suddenly lifts his head and turns, his eyes sharp. He asks Ho-jun what he just said. Ho-jun stares at Kang-chan and says he's talking about Kim Myung. Kang-chan blinks and asks who that is. The room falls silent. Everyone is shocked. They can't believe he doesn't know. Hojun shouts in disbelief and explains that Myung ran to the rooftop the moment she heard Kang Chan might be in trouble. He accuses Kang Chan of being the kind of guy who would leave a girl behind just because he's scared. Hojun yells louder, full of frustration. Kang Chan pauses, then calmly says he remembers now. Myung is the girl who sits next to him in class. He suddenly stands up with a sharp movement, the chair clunking behind him. He tells Hojun they're going. Hojun smirks as he follows. The scene shifts to the top floor of the building, where Hojun's group is waiting. Each one holds something: sticks, bats, and other threatening items. They smirk as Kang Chan arrives. One of them steps forward and says that everything was prepared just for him, warning him to brace himself. Kang Chan scans the group and notices girls among them. Confused, he wonders why they're involved. One of the girls snaps at him, asking if he wants trouble. Kang Chan tells her to leave. She walks closer, angry, and demands to know who he thinks he is to give her orders. Without hesitation, Kang Chan slaps her, and she falls to the ground with a heavy thud. He coldly tells her to beat it. She gets up slowly, eyes burning with rage, then turns and storms off. Hojun laughs and tells his group to hit Kang Chan 10 times harder than that. The angry girl agrees and yells at them to make him pay. Suddenly, a loud slam echoes behind them. Kang Chan slams his foot down and demands to know where Myung is. The scene shifts to another classroom, where Myung quietly enters and asks the teacher for permission to come in. The teacher looks up and asks where she has been. Myung casually replies that she just got to school and explains that she's a little late because she missed the bus. The teacher raises an eyebrow and asks if someone was looking for her. Myung tilts her head, a bit confused, and glances up just like the teacher. The scene cuts back to the top floor, where Hojun bursts out laughing and says he tricked Kang Chan. He mocks him, calling him a dumb ass and saying he looks like some prince trying to rescue Snow White. Kang Chan pauses, thinking to himself that Myung does kind of look like Snow White. He shrugs and says that since nothing's happening here, he's leaving. As Kang Chan turns to leave, several boys suddenly grab him from all sides. Some carry bats, others hold hockey sticks, and they begin to surround him, stepping in with force. Kang Chan looks around and asks what this is supposed to be. Hojune steps forward, mocking him, and asks if he's scared now, if he plans to jump again. Kang Chan growls in frustration, calling them all a pain. But then, something clicks in his mind. A memory surfaces. He begins to wonder if these same boys were present when the original Kang Chan jumped from the roof. He questions whether it was their fault. Hojune laughs and claims that Kang Chan must have really lost his memory. He says they hadn't even started beating him when he begged for his life and jumped on his own. The group around them laughs loudly, mocking him. Kang Chan narrows his eyes and says they should have told him that earlier. Hojune, now burning with anger, tells him to stop pretending and threatens that today is the day he pays. He adds that the strongest fighter in the entire school district has come just for him and that Kang Chan is finished. A tall, muscular student named Puny steps forward from the group and walks straight toward Kang Chan. As Puny grabs Kang Chan's hair, Kang Chan twists his arm sharply and throws him to the ground with a heavy thud. Puny cries out in pain. Hojun watches in shock and yells at his group not to underestimate Kang Chan, ordering them to attack. Kang Chan braces himself as several boys rush at him. The fight breaks out with full force. Fists swing, bodies slam into the walls. Kang Chan's punches land hard, knocking his opponents back one after another. He dodges strikes, elbows a boy in the chest, and sends another rolling across the floor with a sharp kick. One attacker pulls out a sword and swings, but Kang Chan grabs his wrist midair, wrestles the weapon from his hand, and twists his arm until a crack is heard. The boy screams and drops. Now, only Hojun and Kang Chan remain. Hojun flinches and steps back as Kang Chan stares him down. Hojun mutters a curse, trying to hide his fear. Kang Chan steps closer, reminding him that even after nearly driving someone to suicide, the rumors still followed him. Hojun begs him not to come any closer, but Kang Chan keeps moving, his voice cold as he says that today, Hojun will finally pay for what he did. Hojun stumbles back, his voice shaking as he suddenly cries out for help, calling for someone named Mr. Shiok. Kang Chan pauses, surprised by the name. Just then, a teacher appears at the scene. Kang Chan watches him carefully, already suspecting something. The teacher arrives and looks directly at the mess, clearly unfazed. He orders them to stop immediately. Kang Chan narrows his eyes, thinking to himself that this man doesn't seem like a normal teacher. The teacher turns to Hojun and confirms his name. Hojun nods quickly, still shaken. The teacher tells him that he will deal with him later, but for now, he and his friends need to leave the area at once. Relieved, Hojun nods again and mutters that he's been saved, then quickly backs away from Kang Chan. The teacher steps forward and looks at Kang Chan with disappointment. He says that Kang Chan couldn't even wait a full day before getting into another fight. He flicks a lit cigarette aside and sighs. Kang Chan asks how he even knew they were there. The teacher replies that Kim Mi-young told him. He then exhales a cloud of smoke and asks what he should do with Kang Chan now. Kang Chan watches him closely and comments that the teacher seems unusually calm, almost too calm. But then, to his surprise, the teacher speaks more directly. He tells Kang Chan to stop this behavior, reminding him that he's a student, not some street thug. His voice sharpens as he warns Kang Chan not to do anything he might regret later. Kang Chan watches the teacher closely and starts to think deeply. He wonders if this is just a coincidence, but then considers the possibility that the teacher may have also switched bodies like he did. He decides to test him. He calls out to the teacher in a bold and casual way. The teacher becomes angry and demands more respect, his voice sharp and aggressive. Kang Chan suddenly steps forward with quick footwork, catching the teacher by surprise. The teacher swings at him, but Kang Chan blocks the attack with ease and a calm smirk. The teacher spits to the side and continues throwing fast punches. Kang Chan blocks each one, his focus steady. Both of them stop after several hits, breathing hard and staring at each other. Kang Chan begins to wonder how a normal high school teacher can fight like this. At the same time, the teacher looks at him with confusion, questioning who Kang Chan really is. Kang Chan grabs the teacher's wrist and challenges him. The teacher flinches as the tension rises. Slowly, recognition begins to appear in the teacher's eyes. The teacher mutters a name under his breath, God of Blackfield, a title known only to those from Kang Chan's past. Kang Chan sees the answer in his face and lets a small smirk appear, knowing that the teacher now understands who he is. The scene shifts to the school's counseling office, where Kang Chan sits across from the teacher. He studies the man's face and quietly asks if he is really Daeru. The teacher confirms it with a nod. Kang Chan, still puzzled, asks why his Korean is so perfect. The teacher leans back and answers calmly, saying he doesn't really know. The teacher begins to explain what happened to him. He says that after Kang Chan died, he followed shortly after. He remembers gasping for air while his wife asked what was wrong. But when he opened his eyes, he was suddenly in Korea. Even stranger, he could speak Korean naturally, even though he never knew the language before. Kang Chan agrees, thinking that it's true. This teacher didn't know Korean in their old life. He then asks if the teacher has a cigarette. The teacher replies firmly that smoking isn't allowed in the counseling office. Kang Chan shows annoyance, but the teacher stays calm. He warns Kang Chan not to push it. When Kang Chan stares at him, the teacher raises a hand defensively and says he won't give in. He explains that no matter how old Kang Chan really is inside, he still looks like a student on the outside, and no teacher would hand a cigarette to a student. He says it wouldn't matter if Kang Chan tried to scare him, he still wouldn't break the rules. Kang Chan finally gives up and says he doesn't need it anyway. The teacher refuses Kang Chan's request, and Kang Chan grins while the teacher quietly smiles. Kang Chan starts thinking to himself. It becomes clear now, Seok Kang Ho, also known as Daeru, has likely gone through the same strange experience as he did. Kang Chan recalls lying unconscious in a hospital while this man spent peaceful days next to his wife. He feels bitter and makes a harsh comment. The teacher admits it was nice. Kang Chan mutters a sharp insult under his breath. The teacher quickly hushes him, reminding him that someone might hear. He says that in this life he is now a teacher, and Kang Chan is a student, nothing more. Kang Chan gives a crooked smile, almost amused by the idea. But the teacher turns serious, saying Kang Chan can't keep fighting like he has been. He suggests that now, with a second chance at life, Kang Chan should try to live by the rules. Kang Chan pushes back, saying he never wanted to fight, but the others keep picking on him. Then he adds that he doesn't even plan to stay here much longer. He's going back to France. The teacher reacts strongly, asking why Kang Chan would return to a place filled with so much pain. Kang Chan explains that there was a traitor in their group. If he doesn't find out who it was, all the people who died with him will have died for nothing. The teacher goes quiet for a moment, then says that when vacation begins, they should go together. Kang Chan looks surprised and laughs, asking if the teacher thinks this is some kind of picnic, but the teacher stays serious. Kang Chan shakes his head and tells him to stay behind and deal with the school kids, and to stop treating him like one of them. The teacher smiles and says he already has a plan in mind for how to deal with those kids anyway. Kang Chan hears the teacher mention a plan for dealing with students and raises an eyebrow, wondering what happened to the Daeru he once knew. The teacher reminds Kang Chan that he was the one who told him to handle things. Then he asks if Kang Chan noticed anything strange during the fight. Kang Chan pauses and thinks. The teacher points out that the weapons the students used were far from normal. Kang Chan admits that while they weren't carrying guns, the number of weapons still seemed odd. The teacher questions if Kang Chan was truly raised in Korea, saying that regular students don't walk around with knives and 5 baseball bats. Kang Chan seems surprised and finally agrees. The teacher sighs and says there must be a gang behind all of it. Someone is likely supplying the kids. Kang Chan asks again if he's sure, and the teacher says he isn't certain, but it's highly likely. He suggests they deal with the students first, then head to France together once school break begins. Kang Chan smiles a little at the idea. The teacher reminds him that he's serious. Kang Chan finally gives in with a light flick of the hand and says they'll talk about it later. For now, he only asks the teacher to tell the nurse he's sick. Then, without waiting for a reply, he slips out. The teacher is caught off guard by how casually he leaves. Kang Chan heads off, saying he plans to nap in the infirmary until the end of the school day. The teacher can only groan in frustration. As he watches him go, the scene shifts to the school infirmary, where Kang Chan lies asleep on one of the beds. The room is quiet until someone steps inside, the sound of footsteps causing Kang Chan to instantly become alert. He quickly sits up and glares toward the door. It's Ho-jun, who steps back nervously and says he didn't mean to wake him. He explains that he only came to give him something and holds out a small item, asking Kang Chan to eat it. Ho-jun also says that some freshmen and sophomores plan to visit after class to greet Kang Chan now that he is considered the school's leader. Kang Chan scowls, clearly irritated, and tells him off with a sharp expression. Ho-jun flinches, quickly apologizes, and hurries out of the room. Left alone, Kang Chan remains sitting on the bed, his eyes narrowed and filled with quiet frustration as he stares at the door. The next day, the scene shifts to the school grounds where Kang Chan stands quietly. As he looks around, some students flinch when they see him, others stop walking, and a few quickly move aside to avoid his gaze. His presence makes the hallway tense. Not far away, Mi-young stands with a paintbrush in her hand. She sees Kang Chan and calls out to him. He looks her way, confused for a moment. She walks up and gently asks if he's feeling better. Kang Chan replies that she doesn't need to worry about him and then turns away. Mi-young watches him, thoughtful and unsure. Just then, someone calls Kang Chan's name from behind. Both Kang Chan and Mi-young turn to look. 4 girls stand nearby. One of them steps forward and tells Kang Chan that some people want to meet him. But Kang Chan narrows his eyes and says nothing at first. He turns back to Mi-young and calmly tells her they should leave. She nods and agrees. As they walk away, together, the girl who called out becomes visibly angry, shouting after them. But Kang Chan doesn't even glance back. As Kang Chan and Mi-young walk together, Mi-young quietly tells him that she thinks someone named Yunsil is targeting him. Kang Chan asks who that is, and Mi-young explains it was the girl from earlier. She warns him to be careful, adding that she's heard rumors about Yunsil being involved with many people. Kang Chan hears this and begins to think to himself. He wonders if that's really something to be cautious about. In fact, he finds it a little amusing, knowing the things he's done during his time in France would shock her. Meanwhile, Mi-young looks at him with concern, thinking he may be in danger. As they continue walking, they suddenly spot 4 men standing in front of them. One of the men is looking at a photo of Kang Chan on his phone. Another asks if it's the right person, and he confirms it is. Kang Chan notices them watching him closely and starts to wonder why. As they approach, one of the men calls out to Kang Chan, asking him to come over. Kang Chan doesn't resist and walks closer. He quietly wonders if these are the people Daeru warned him about. Mi-young becomes alarmed and grabs his hand, begging him not to go. Her hand trembles in fear. Kang Chan gently pats her on the head and assures her that everything will be fine, then steps toward the group. One of the men asks if he is Kang Chan. Kang Chan confirms and asks what they want. The man scoffs and calls him rude. Kang Chan stays calm, thinking he should be able to handle these men without trouble. Mi-young stays behind, still worried. She thinks this is not a good place for a fight, but one of the men glances at Kang Chan and tells him they didn't come to fight. Instead, they say they have something important to talk about and tell him to get in the car. Kang Chan questions why he should listen to them. Another man smirks, saying nothing. Mi-young, now frozen in fear, places both hands over her mouth, too tense to speak. One of the men repeats that they have something to talk about and tells Kang Chan to get in the car. Kang Chan stands firm and questions why he should go with them. One of the men smirks while another lights a cigarette. Without warning, the man closest to Kang Chan spits on his head and mocks him, calling him bold. Kang Chan narrows his eyes and tells him to back off. The man responds by saying they were trying to handle things peacefully, thinking Kang Chan is just a kid. But before he can say more, Kang Chan moves fast. With one sharp glare, he strikes. He grabs the man's collar, slams him back with a powerful grip, and punches him square in the face. The man stumbles from the hit, completely caught off guard, as Kang Chan stays locked in place, ready for the others. As soon as Kang Chan knocks one of the men to the ground, a group of students rushes outside after hearing the noise. They notice the fight and start taking pictures and recording videos with their phones. One of the men in the gang becomes furious and yells at the students to stop. He threatens them and even smacks one student's phone, sending it crashing to the ground in pieces. The other students, now scared, quickly hide their phones and back away. Kang Chan steps forward and gets ready to face the rest. One of the gang members asks if they're really going to beat up a student in front of the school, but an older man gives the order to just hurt him enough to keep him quiet. The gang member nods and charges forward. Kang Chan braces himself, realizing these men are not like the high school punks he fought before. Their moves are trained and their stance is strong. One man rushes in with a confident grin, but Kang Chan meets him with a swift move and knocks him to the ground. Another tries to strike from behind, but Kang Chan counters with a fast kick, sending him back. A third attacker charges, but Kang Chan dodges and uses his weight to make the man stumble and fall. Another swings at him, but Kang Chan reacts fast, blocking and throwing the man down. Though Kang Chan is holding his ground, he notices something. These men are experienced and stronger. They're not kids, and his current body is still young and weaker than what he's used to. Every strike takes more energy, and it's taking longer to take them down. Even as one of the gang members insults him, Kang Chan keeps fighting, knowing that the difference now is not just the enemy, it's his body that's limiting him. The gang commander smirks as he suddenly strikes Kang Chan from behind. Kang Chan whirls around annoyed, thinking that Dairu would be laughing if he had seen that careless moment. The gang leader steps forward and admits that they know Kang Chan has skill, telling him to calm down, claiming they didn't come to fight. But Kang Chan doesn't care about their reasons and stands his ground, making it clear he wants them gone. The gang leader shrugs and, seeing no other option, moves to attack. But Kang Chan is faster. He grabs the man's wrist mid-swing, twists it hard, and slams him backward. Two more gang members rush in to defend their leader, shouting angrily and saying it's time to get serious. Kang Chan prepares himself for the next wave, still keeping control. Meanwhile, Mi-young, watching the entire scene unfold in fear, quickly pulls out her phone. She stands near the edge of the crowd and calls for help. Her voice is calm but urgent as she reports the fight, telling the police that several people have already been hurt. The police on the phone confirm the address, but before they arrive, the gang leader stands, brushing himself off. He curses under his breath, clearly frustrated, and warns Kang Chan that just because they're leaving now doesn't mean the matter is finished. Kang Chan glares back and calmly thinks that next time they meet, he won't hold back. He'll break the Yui Awa man's arm for real. With that, the gang members retreat and drive off in their car. Mi-young sighs deeply and suggests they should leave too. Kang Chan agrees, knowing it would be a pain if the police arrived and started asking questions. But Mi-young smiles softly and tells him not to worry. The police aren't actually coming. Kang Chan looks confused. Mi-young explains that she was only pretending to make the call. She didn't want him to get in trouble. Kang Chan watches her for a moment, unsure whether to call her a genius or someone who's just too innocent. After the fight ends, Yunsul stands at a distance, quietly, watching everything. Kang Chan notices her and walks over. He gives her some advice, telling her that she should start relying on herself. He warns that the more she leans on the wrong crowd for help, the more they will use her for their own gain. Sooner or later, they will throw her away. Yunsul becomes angry and shoves him, yelling that he shouldn't act like he's better than her. Kang Chan doesn't argue. He simply turns his back and walks away. As he leaves, he calmly says goodbye without looking back. Yunsul calls out to him, but he doesn't respond. Kang Chan walks alongside Mi-young. His body feels sore, and he realizes that even though he didn't take a direct hit, it still hurts. He thinks to himself how weak and uncomfortable this new body is. Mi-young, walking beside him, notices his discomfort and asks if he's hurt and if she should call for help. Kang Chan shakes his head and says he's fine. He changes the subject, asking if she wants to get something to eat. When he suggests pork cutlets, Mi-young lights up and says she loves them. The next day, the lesson focuses on the idea that human nature is bad, a belief often linked to the scholar Shunzi. Though some describe Shunzi as cold-hearted, that isn't true. He follows the teachings of Confucius and values kindness and proper manners. As the bell rings and class ends, Kang Chan stays at his desk, looking exhausted. He lies flat on the desk, clearly not feeling well. Mi-young, sitting nearby, sighs and says she can't take any more of this. Kang Chan mutters that he would rather be back at war. Just then, a voice from behind Mi-young speaks up. Kang Chan slowly raises his head and looks toward the sound. Two students walk up to him, standing straight and serious. One introduces the group as sophomores and freshmen who have come to greet him. They politely hold out an envelope saying, "It's the weekly payment." Kang Chan stares at them, completely surprised. He glares at the envelope and demands to know who told them to bring him money. Without touching it, he firmly tells them to return it to whoever it belongs to, and to stop gathering around him like a gang. The students quickly nod, bow, and agree. As Kang Chan rests his head again, he tells them to leave because he's tired. The group responds respectfully and walks away. One of the students quietly walks up to Kang Chan's desk. Kang Chan, still tired and resting, lifts his head slowly and asks if the student also has something to say to him. The student replies that the PE teacher wants to see him in the counseling office. Hearing this, Kang Chan pauses and quietly wonders if it's Daeru calling for him. In the counseling office, Daeru looks at Kang Chan seriously and brings up the fight from the day before. Kang Chan replies casually, saying it didn't even feel like a real fight. Daeru frowns and asks him to stop making so much trouble, reminding him that he's not a child anymore. Kang Chan shoots back, pointing out that Daeru was the biggest troublemaker back when they were in Africa. But Daeru says this isn't Africa. He explains that in Korea, everything is watched. There are cameras, dash cams, smartphones, and people recording everywhere. He accuses Kang Chan of acting like he wants to get kicked out of school on purpose. Kang Chan grins and says that actually doesn't sound like a bad plan, then they could go back to Africa right away. Daeru shakes his head, calling Kang Chan impossible. Still, he makes one request before Kang Chan gets himself expelled. He tells him that there are 4 students in the school who are being badly bullied and asks Kang Chan to help them. Kang Chan refuses, saying that if he helps them, now things might get even worse for them after he leaves. Daeru thinks for a moment, then offers him a deal. He says he'll let Kang Chan skip classes if he agrees to help the students. Kang Chan looks interested and asks how. Daeru explains that if Kang Chan becomes a student athlete, he'll only need to attend morning classes. The teachers won't even mind if he doesn't pay attention in class. He adds that Kang Chan needs to start getting in shape anyway, because if they do return to Africa, he won't survive a week in his current condition. Kang Chan thinks for a moment. Daeru said there are 4 students. He straightens his tie. His eyes sharpen. He's ready to act. The scene shifts to the school building. Kang Chan stands alone when a girl approaches him, asking to talk. She walks quickly, clearly upset. Suddenly, she snaps and yells, blaming him for her troubles. Kang Chan looks confused. The girl, now crying, says the men from yesterday threatened her. They told her to bring Kang Chan to them. If she refuses, they say they'll hurt Hojun and sell her to a brothel. Kang Chan stays calm and asks why she doesn't call the police. She explains that if she does, they'll go after her parents. Desperate, she says she'll do anything if he helps. Kang Chan steps closer and asks if she truly means that. She nods, holding her tie tightly. He looks at her, then gently raises his hand above her head. He tells her he knew it. She's not much different from the others. He tells her to go wash her face, stop wearing heavy makeup, and adjust her uniform. It's too tight, and her skirt is too short. The girl looks surprised and doesn't respond. Kang Chan reminds the girl that she promised to do anything he asked. She's surprised that this is all he wants, and he asks if he should add more. She quickly says no. He then tells her to call the gang members. She hesitates, explaining that she knows their numbers but is only allowed to receive calls from them. Kang Chan tells her to call anyway. She does, swiping through her phone and dialing. The name Heo Yunsul appears on the screen. The call connects, and a voice immediately scolds her for calling first. Kang Chan grabs the phone and speaks. Heo sounds surprised but pleased to hear Kang Chan's voice. He tells Kang Chan to come now, but Kang replies that he's busy and will only meet on Monday. Heo is angry and demands respect, but Kang stands firm. Monday or nothing. After a short pause, Heo agrees and warns Kang not to back out. Kang Chan says he'll be there, but tells them to stop dragging in people who aren't involved. He hangs up and hands the phone back to the girl. She asks for his number, offering to help if he ever needs anything. Kang Chan smirks, thinking she would have gotten along well with Smithen if he were still alive. He tells her he'll see her after school on Monday, then walks away. As Kang Chan walks away, his thoughts swirl. Between his injured friends, the 4 bullied students, Yunsul, and the gangsters, things feel overwhelming. He reflects that it's only been a few days since waking up from the coma, and already his life is full of problems. Just then, Myung runs up behind him, calling his name. Kang Chan smiles to himself, almost forgetting about his Snow White. She catches up and asks if it's okay to walk home together. They begin walking side by side. Along the way, Myung hesitates before asking if he and Yunsil are dating. Kang Chan is caught off guard. She explains that they've been spending time together, and it made her wonder. He quickly clears things up, saying there's nothing going on between him and Yoonsul. They only spoke because of the fight. Myung looks relieved and softly says she's glad they're not a couple. Kang-chan raises an eyebrow and asks why she's even asking. Then, half-jokingly, he wonders if she has a crush on him. Realizing what he just said, he mutters to himself, in disbelief. All these kids seem wild to him. After all, he's 29 years old.